Salute, this is Jeff.
And this is David.
And we are playing Equinox. Today we're going to be playing the dungeon of Atlena.
Which is apparently on docks.
Yes. We're going to be exploring the boardwalks with Glendaal here. The Atlena dungeon is the only one that has what you might call traditional music. Is a very pleasant harp arpeggio going. There it is, that's the one. This is the part of the game where the difficulty increases exponentially. The hardest jumps in the game are actually in this dungeon, at least in my opinion. It's been a while since I've played the last dungeon, so there still might be some that I'm blocking out of my mind. The basic way that we're going to tackle this one is there's a whole bunch of entrances sort of on these boardwalks. And they all have a bunch of keys and their starting points. I'm going to be collecting all of those first, and then we're going to go around to the bottom entrance, which is near the swamplands. I ran into a bat, and now I'm going to run away from the bat by running into the bat. Oh, the irony. So delicious. Delicious irony.
Well,
it's a good source of iron.
Kill yourself to run away. It makes sense. I'm sure I've seen that in a Japanese game somewhere.
And probably.
But yeah, that arpeggio is very...
It's very soothing. Very
minimalist, very Philip Glass. It's good.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember their names. I mentioned it in the first video, but the musicians that did this were the brothers. Very good. You'll notice that I'm being pushed in place on those blocks. Conveyor blocks or slidey blocks, however you want to interpret them. That is the new gimmick for this dungeon. Yay. We'll be seeing a lot of those, and they won't go away. They'll be in the following dungeon, which is my favorite, but we're not there yet, so yeah. Save that for then. This is now.
Yeah, this is underwater, as indicated by the wavy lines.
This is when you have to really figure out Glendaal's jumping box. Now, as long as his shadow is touching the edge of the sort of the block you're on, I guess these algae cinder blocks, as long as his shadow is touching it, you won't fall off. And these jumps that cross two block lengths require you to be at the absolute edge in order to successfully make it. That is a particularly frustrating room, but it's done now, so.
Yay!
I'm going to be using the damage spell, the only way to kill this thing.
The only time that spell is useful.
Yes. We will be getting a much, much better spell, but shh, that's later. Shh, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Right, no spoilers.
We will not be going through that green door.
Ever?
No, never ever.
Okay.
We actually will not be going through all of the rooms in this dungeon. By going, excuse me, by going in and out of the entrances and getting the appropriate keys, like I'm doing now, we can bypass a lot of the doors. Well, not a lot of them, but enough so that I don't have to go through that green gate that we just observed. There's a blue key behind there in a just really hard, slidey puzzle jumping maze.
So this game, you can skip the really hard bits. And also, what's the upside down mountains?
Not the those are just things, just floaty things.
Floaty things. Okay.
Not any particular reason. This jump is possible. If you're playing this as a child, and say you're me years ago, for instance, this is nearly impossible. You're like, you must be joking. You cannot clear a spike from that distance, but you can. This is the first step in learning how to beat the later dungeons, is learning exactly how far Glendaal can throw himself. So. I went out of the room because going out of the room saves what you've collected.
So that when you inevitably die again.
Yes, as I don't, but if I had, then I would only have to start back at the top entrance.
Yeah.
The blobs follow a very predictable pattern. They jump straight up, and then they jump towards you, like so.
And that's very annoying.
By grabbing the apple, it means that they will not respawn here.
But if you hadn't grabbed the apple, they just come right back?
Yeah, they will come back.
Awesome.
That is deceptively hard jump because if you try and walk off too early, you'll actually just hit the spike.
And spikes mean death.
They do, very often.
Now, how
Good
many
old green key there.
How many keys do you end up having to get for this one?
I do not remember. It has been a while since I recorded this. Oh look, there's a secret door. I totally missed that, but that's all right. Start right there.
Well, nobody's perfect with their keys, so
have my third blue key there. You can actually cross that room, and it leads to a secret entrance to another area. But we'll be going there later, so we don't need to go there right now. Make sure to point that out. This little slime here is inconveniently located, but is not the biggest screw you that this game has to offer.
This game is very fluent in screw you, though.
Yes, indeed. This particular path we're going on now, what I'm going to call the south entrance, or the quagmire entrance, because it's near the marshlands. Hey, what's? Oh, look, there's a hidden room there.
How are you supposed to find these hidden rooms?
You're supposed to wander around aimlessly. That's the first step. And then upon giving up all hope and entering into a state of complete despair, despair is the important second step, then you start just checking all the walls.
So, hopelessness, despair.
Hopelessness and despair.
Then OCD.
Then OCD.
And that's
we will be getting that particular blue key
later.
From a different direction. You cannot make that jump.
Ever.
I'm going to ignore that blob.
Because you don't need to kill it?
Yeah, you don't need to kill it. You'll notice right in here, there we go, well, there's the Church of Glendaal. There's a nice little cross. This is the boss room. We'll obviously come back here later.
The cross, yes.
Let's just take the top off that.
And now it's a T.
And now it's a T.
Well, now it's a T.
Now it's a T.
Now it's a T.
This is still pretty forgiving, pretty easy jump so far. The blisteringly difficult ones will not happen until later. There's a little blob. What's going on, blob?
So the hardest jumps in the whole game are generally the diagonal pixel perfect.
Pixel perfect angle jumps, which I'll be covering in more detail, I think, in the second part of Atlena. Unfortunately, we have to do a little bit of backtracking at the moment. Because this path basically only leads to the boss, but I needed those keys in order to make the rest of it. So I don't run into a gate without a key, which is grossly inconvenient.
So I'm
just strutting, throwing some axes, whatever.
So you actually did beat this game when you were a kid, right?
Yes, in fact, still have the original Super Nintendo cartridge, as the kids say these days.
The kids, because they know what a cartridge is.
Yeah. My brother actually has it in his house in the Super Nintendo, so occasionally goes back and plays legitimate hard as something that's really hard, like a diamond.
Hey, you died.
I was trying to distract you by talking about diamonds,
but you died.
Yeah, I got a little greedy, ran into the blue dot.
Blue slime. Wicked slime from Dragon Warrior series.
Yeah, basically little slimes.
Red slimes were the next level up.
See if you can guess where the secret exit in this room is. That makes it so you don't have to collect all of the white keys. So if you can spot it, we've already seen it. For those of you playing at home, yes, it is that corner.
Oh,
yay!
I was going to say that. What's sad is I did watch you record this part.
Yeah, and you forgot. Yeah,
I completely forgot.
Now, the reason I'm killing these is because we are finally, after so many minutes, about almost 10 minutes through this dungeon collecting keys, we will finally be able to pick up a token.
A token.
Which, of course, is the main thing we'll be needing.
Because you use the keys to get the tokens to get to the boss.
Technically the second token, but it's been a while. Let's see.
When did you get the...
Look at that. Look at that.
Wow.
You walk in the door and then you die.
Yeah.
Now, although I did that one on purpose, I assure you. But just because it's too funny. There's plenty of times where I died not on purpose, but...
Because you just forgot it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured that I might as well just... for the sake of demonstration, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes. That was it.
This one, fairly easy token to get, you know. It is where you think it would be. Your mind interprets that usually pretty correct.
Because it's slightly
little
lower.
dizzy devils here things. That one sadly is trapped behind a spike and completely helpless.
It can't actually hurt you at all.
Yeah. There are slidey blocks everywhere except for exactly where the token is. So if you're expecting a slide, it's basically just kind of a screw you.
Because you jump and then
now this jump looks impossible. Oh wait, not for Glendaal.
How does that work?
That is an extremely hard jump, and I was so surprised that I got it. I was just like, must keep recording. And I don't attempt it again because then it would ruin the illusion of my mad leet Equinox skills with Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does make sense.
Yeah, it would ruin the illusion. And that's the important part, the illusion.
That we're both very good at the games we play.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I am pretty good at Equinox. Playing it so long from childhood memories, nostalgia, and so forth, has been able to, I guess, sort of like been inoculated to its peculiarities, I suppose.
So this game is one of the reasons you're so good at timing and such.
Also, I'm a drummer.
Oh, that one.
That was another contributing factor.
Right.
My playing this game in my childhood explains why I'm good at this game. So.
Well, I was thinking more like the action.
It's another example of a too wide gap
that you have to use your shadows.
The shadow is the indicator that you will need to use in order to gauge that.
Your shadows load bearing edges.
See if you can figure out where the secret exit is here.
Right there.
That one is fairly obvious.
It's indicated by the little.
That's as obvious as Equinox is going to get. So
anything other than that, they're just being nice to you.
Now all of these eggs are slidey blocks.
So is that what those are?
They kind of look like eggs. Maybe
mushroom
limestone. But oh, we have a new weapon. Awesome. The top one is not a slidey block.
Yay!
Let's go ahead and put that on. We have the glorious twin knife. He can. Glendaal is able to shoot knives out of the back of his head.
Awesome.
So come in handy right here. When I can just bam, just ninja stealth kill.
Just anime kill all of them.
Because when you're not looking at the enemy, it makes the kill like 3.6 times cooler than if you were to look at them.
I do agree. Now that key just warp speeded itself.
Yes, exactly. It
into your back, but
there's weird. I would loosely call physics that.
Very loosely.
Yeah, very loosely we'll call physics that we will see some bizarre glitches in future dungeons. I don't think there's too much in here. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Twin knife massacre.
That makes that
a lot easier. Maybe he's quickly throwing his other hand backwards, but I prefer to think of the nape of his neck spawning knives.
Maybe just throwing them.
And throwing them completely straight. Astute viewers will notice that there was tokens in those previous rooms. We will not be getting those from this direction.
Have to go back another way.
Yes, indeed. More keys. There is, in fact, more keys to get. There's a third red key. We will not. I don't think we actually end up using all the red keys. The only way to solve this one is to reset the room. Pushy block back in the middle. There is in fact nothing in the upper right, so
it's just there for you to waste.
Yeah, just there to waste your time.
40 seconds.
And we have another white key. We will be using that.
Okay. So, as far as dungeons go, is this the most inconveniently placed keys, or?
This is definitely the one with the most. Well, it's not the one with the most keys in total. That would have to be the final dungeon, where they throw everything at you, including a number of sinks, both kitchen and bathrooms sinks. So
they got everything.
Yeah. This is the most complicated key gathering sort of dungeon.
Now, do you map everything out previously, or are you just that good?
No, I'm actually using on Game FAQs a guy by the name of Fecal with it's a great name.
Yeah.
But he has made completely awesome maps of all of the Equinox dungeons. Also, I would thank and I don't know the guy's name who does it, but the guy who is in charge of the Equinox Shrine. I think it's Flying Omelet.
I love these
I
names.
used his walkthrough for Atlena as a starting off point to figure out my route. This is most, I would say, about 60-70% his route. I did a few changes, like what we're seeing now. The whole getting the weapon at this point was not in his original walkthrough. But we will see the rest of Atlena on the next part.
Awesome. See y'all then.